we are interested in the angle theta of the received signal. Now, when we simplified this, we know tan theta is opposite side by adjacent side. We wrote those values. Then we considered the carrier to noise ratio to be much greater than 1, which means the carrier magnitude when it's greater than noise. This noise part which is there in the denominator could be avoided. That is the next step. And later on, since we know that the overall angle is small, theta minus phi would usually be a small angle, then I can just take tan theta as theta itself. That's what we have done in the next step. Tan theta minus phi is taken as theta minus phi, and after that we have considered, we know that we have already considered the magnitude of the noise angle psi is much greater when compared to phi, right? The signal makes an angle phi, the noise makes an angle psi. So the angle made by noise is measured by practical means, and generally they have checked multiple times. It is found to be much greater than the angle made by the signal. So we can neglect this phi. We have done that, and later on this r of t sin psi, I have used this noise triangle where in phase component is adjacent, NQ quadrature phase component is the perpendicular, R of t is the resultant magnitude of noise. Using this noise triangle, R of t sin psi is replaced with NQ of t. Okay. So we got this expression. We are putting back what is phi of t, and we'll get the noise part as quadrature component by AC. And we know when this signal is fed through a frequency discriminator, the output voltage of the discriminator is proportional to input frequency. So I should first get the input frequency from this angle. We are trying to find the frequency from the angle by using the relation 1 by 2 pi d theta by dt. Okay. And when we do that, our equation simplifies to this form. And here you can clearly see it is in the form of sum of detected message plus detected noise. Therefore, we could find the average power in the message signal, detected message signal, kf square pm, and we are trying to find the average power in the detected noise, which is given by this. Since this equation has a differential, we have to what? Take the Fourier analysis. It will be easy for us to work in the frequency domain. So I am taking the Fourier transform of this LHS and RHS. ND of f I will get on the LHS. 1 by 2 pi AC is a constant. Differential is replaced with J2 pi f, and NQ of t will be replaced with NQ of f. Then we will take the square because we are interested in power spectral density. So power spectral density is obtained by taking the square on both sides and taking the magnitude value. I can neglect the sign. So finally we end up with this equation. ND square of f is equal to f square by AC square NQ square of f. Or in other words, this ND square of f is nothing but the power spectral density of detected noise. Okay, power spectral density of detected noise. We call it as SND of f, and on the right hand side I have f square by AC square SNQ of f. So we know what is this SNQ of f. The quadrature component and in phase component are represented by the same power spectral density curve, which is defined as N0 by 2 into 2 between the given frequency limits minus Bt by 2 to plus Bt by 2. Now let's try to rewrite the equation for this. let me say, therefore, the detected power spectral density of detected noise can be represented by this value f square by AC square into how much is this? N naught. N naught by 2 into 2, this value becomes N naught. And this is only in the range where f is less than or equal to Bt by 2. So only in this range, from here to here, the power spectral density value will be N naught. F square by AC square I have here. The value of SNQ of F. SNQ of F will be N naught within this range, and it is 0 elsewhere. So this is how we represent the power spectral density of the detected noise. Okay. Any doubts or confusion still here? If you have something, please ask.
No.
Okay. Then this is the detected noise power spectral density. Now let me try to plot this to help you understand how it looks. So how will this SND of F look? It is a graph of the power spectral density with respect to frequency. Remember, it is a frequency plot. This exists only from minus Bt by 2 to plus Bt by 2. We have written from here to here only it will exist. And how do I plot? At zero frequency, based on this equation, at zero frequency, the value is 0, right? At zero frequency, it is 0. When f becomes 1, it will be 1 by AC square into N naught, maybe somewhere here or somewhere here. When it is 2, it will be 2 square. So what kind of curve you will get? You will get an exponentially increasing curve like this, plotting in the complete range. 1 second. Yeah, let me take it from here to here. So this is how you are going to get an exponential or parabolic curve you are going to get, because here it is proportional to f square, not just f. When f is 3, I am going to get 9. When f is 4, I am going to get 16. So you are going to get an exponentially increasing curve. What does this suggest? What is the physical meaning of this type of curve? Yes? What are we trying to measure here? The power spectral density of noise. And what is happening here? The power spectral density is increasing exponentially as frequency increases, which means at zero frequency, the noise power is less. As frequency increases, the noise power is also increasing exponentially. So, if I consider, do you remember the power spectral density of message, how it looks? Generally, how does the power spectral density of message look like? We have always, I showed you the other day. So for a triangular message, the power spectral density of message will be something like this. The reverse parabolic curve. And for message, it will range from minus W to plus W. Your PM, what do I call? SM of F, power spectral density of M of T, the message. The power spectral density of the message looks something like this. So what is it that you can infer from these curves? Yes, anything you can conclude looking at these? See, the message and noise have opposite power spectral densities. Here, you see the high frequency components of the message have very low power levels, whereas high frequency components of noise have high power levels. So what do you expect will happen? Looking at these two, you can clearly see, comparing, you can clearly see high frequency components of message are more affected by noise. Yes or no? See, the noise power is increasing as frequency increases, whereas the signal power, the message power is decreasing as frequency increases. So here the power in the signal is so less, but the corresponding power in noise is higher here. If you compare, what will happen to the SNR? Signal to noise ratio will reduce because of this. Okay, high frequency components of the signal will usually have lesser power, whereas high frequency components of noise are having more power because of this effect, right? So because due to this, we'll use something known as pre-emphasis and de-emphasis in FM receivers. To avoid this effect, I don't want high frequency components of the message being affected by high frequency components of noise significantly. In order to avoid this effect, we are going to include extra additional circuits called as pre-emphasis and de-emphasis at the transmitter and receiver side correspondingly. Anyway, we'll come to this a little later. Now, what I want to show you is, since the bandwidth of the detected noise power spectral density is from minus Bt to plus Bt, and the bandwidth of the message is much less than that. So, let me try to limit this noise power spectral density within the message bandwidth. Then the curve will look something like this. So within the message bandwidth, I'll plot same curve. No change, the same curve. Only thing I'm limiting the bandwidth to minus W to plus W. Okay. So this happens. When will the noise power get limited to the message bandwidth? After the final low pass filter. Remember, there was a low pass filter in the last stage. After frequency discriminator, we had a frequency discriminator. The last stage was a baseband low pass filter. So this last stage, and the signal which I got here was MD plus ND, and after this final low pass filter, the signal which I get, the detected message plus limited noise. The noise power will be, I'll call it N0. The message should be detected same as here because I'm going to have the message bandwidth. The bandwidth of this low pass filter will be same as the message W. So only noise gets limited, the signal passes through as it is. That's what happens after the final stage. Therefore, you say output after final baseband low pass filter is, let's say, V0 of t, which is MD of t plus N0 of t. It will be in the form of detected message plus low pass filtered noise. So when I filter this message, I'll get the message completely. When I filter the noise, the bandwidth reduces from Bt to W. Okay. So let us define what is this Sn naught of f. You say, therefore, Sn naught of f, the power spectral density after low pass filter. Power spectral density of noise after low pass filter will be the same f square by AC square into N0. Same equation. Only the limitation for its existence is between plus or minus W. That's why I'm showing this as a modulus. So F lies between minus W to plus W as shown here. Okay, so this is Sn naught of F. The power spectral density curve which we have drawn below, the last one is Sn naught of F, sorry, and it is 0 elsewhere. So this is present only between plus or minus W and it is 0 in all other places. Therefore, with this knowledge, the last step, let us try to find average noise power at output. Let me say N naught square of T, average noise power. How do I find out? It is area under the power spectral density curve in the given limit. See, the power spectral density curve Sn naught of F df is defined here. Area under this between minus W to plus W I should consider. So this will be minus W to plus W F square, the equation. In this range, what is the value? F square by AC square into N naught df. Here N naught by AC square is a constant. What is integral of F square? How much is integral of F square?
F cube by 3.
F cube by 3 in the limits minus W to plus W. Try to evaluate this. What will you get? So when you evaluate this,
2 omega. 2 W
N0
cube by 3.
3 AC square into W cubed, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Plus W.
Minus of, this is minus W cube. So 2 N0 W cube by 3 AC square. This is the average final detected noise power. Now what should I find? Based on this, let me find, therefore, signal to noise ratio on the output side is detected signal power MD square T by detected noise power N0 square T. Detected signal power, we had done it yesterday. How much did we get? Somewhere here, just before this. Yeah, see here, the detected signal power we have already defined as kf square m square t or kf square into pm. We had got this equation, right? We had got the final expression after discriminator as kf m of t plus 1 by 2 pi ac. All this lengthy exercise we did to find the final noise power. This noise power we had to determine correctly due to this noise signal, for which we had to find the frequency spectrum, then power spectral density, then limited bandwidth area under the curve, everything. So we know the signal power is kf square pm. Let's substitute that. Signal power here is kf square pm and noise power is 2 N0 W cubed by 3 AC square. This is what we got. So if I simplify this, what will I get? This 3 AC square can go on top. 3 AC square kf square pm divided by 2 N0 into W cubed. This is the expression for SNRO, right? Therefore, what should I find? Figure of merit. Figure of merit of the FM receiver is obtained as SNRO divided by SNRC or SNRI, whatever you want you can call. What did we get as SNRI? Can somebody check out and tell me? if you have written down. What was the value of SNRI? First thing we did that. Here, we didn't do yesterday.
No, I guess, ma'am.
Okay, I think we have forgotten to do SNRI. It's not seen here. In the beginning itself, here we can do it. Anyway, I have placed here. How do I find the received signal is this? Anyway, there is nothing much here. I have to find S square T by N square T average. That is SNRI. So let's find S square T, the average power of the signal. See, this is your FM signal. Average power lies only in peak amplitude. Divide by root 2, you get RMS amplitude. RMS voltage square by R gives you the power. Here, since R is not given, we'll just take, if R is 1 ohm, we'll just consider this as AC square by 2. That's all. We know the FM signal power is defined as AC square by 2. And for common evaluation, what do we consider as noise power? For common evaluation or comparison, the noise power on the input side is always treated as N0 into W. Everywhere we have taken the same noise power. So, what is SNRI or SNRC? SNRC is AC square by 2 N0 into W. SNRI or SNRC. I'll call it SNRC because I'm taking this common noise power at all the inputs. So this is AC square by 2 N0 into W. Yeah, sorry, we missed finding this. Anyway, even if you write it below, it is okay, no problem. We have found SNRO first and then SNRI. SNRI is very simple. Signal you consider. Consider the signal power in FM, it will be just AC square by 2. Noise power is constant in all cases. N0 into W per unit bandwidth. So you can find SNRI or SNRC as AC square by 2 N0 W. Okay, now let's substitute this. Let's substitute this here. This becomes what? AC square by 2 N0 into W. So we have the output signal to noise ratio divided by channel signal to noise ratio or input signal to noise ratio. Please cancel out all the terms which can be cancelled out. AC square 2 N0 W. Here I'll have 2 left out. W 2 N0 W cancels out once. So 3 KF square PM divided by W square. Is that right? Just
Yes,
check
ma'am.
out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so 3 KF square PM by W square. This is our figure of merit for an FM receiver. So you are asked to derive this equation for, as I told you, 10 marks or so, 8 to 10 marks, it depends. You have to learn to do it fast and go through the steps fast. Maybe with sufficient practice, you can remember and skip some steps. Anyway, so this gives us the figure of merit of an FM receiver. You can see this figure of merit of FM is directly proportional to the square of the frequency sensitivity. So we know that bandwidth of FM is 2 into 1 plus beta into FM, or what is beta? Do you remember what is the expansion for beta? Delta F by
Delta
FM.
F by FM.
And what is delta F?
KF into AM.
KF into AM by FM. So what is, if the figure of merit is proportional to the square of the sensitivity, it automatically means it is also proportional to the bandwidth or square of the bandwidth, because KF into AM is the main term in our bandwidth expression, right? So if at all the figure of merit has to be higher, then the bandwidth also has to be higher. That's what this implies. So since it is directly proportional to KF square and KF is part of the bandwidth determining equation, I can say the figure of merit is directly proportional to square of bandwidth. The higher the bandwidth you give for an FM signal, the better will be its reception quality or figure of merit, and it is inversely proportional to the bandwidth of the message, or let's say square of message bandwidth. So the figure of merit is inversely proportional to the square of the message bandwidth. You have a large bandwidth message. So for a large bandwidth M of t, figure of merit will be lesser. If the bandwidth of the message is higher, the figure of merit will be lesser. Bandwidth of the message is lower, figure of merit will be higher. Inverse proportionality. Whereas it's directly proportional to the bandwidth of the FM signal. Anyway, there are a few contrasting things here which we'll not consider for now. Let me directly say, consider a single tone. Now, consider a single tone message. Single tone message. M of t is AM cos 2 pi FM into t. So what is the value of the power in this message? Find the power in this signal. AM square into power in a cosine is 1 by root 2 whole square. So this will be AM square by 2. We have done the same analysis for AM signal also, double sideband full carrier AM. There also we considered single tone message and found what will happen to the figure of merit. So here also, let's consider a single tone message. So the power in that message signal is AM square by 2. Therefore, what is the figure of merit now? The figure of merit by substituting this. What was the expression? 3 KF square PM by W square. So 3 KF square. For PM I have to put AM square by 2 divided by W square. So 3 by 2 W square, KF into AM whole square. What is KF into AM? What is KF into AM? Delta F. Yes or no? Delta F square divided by W square. W here rather than W, I should write FM because it is single tone. Yes or no? W represents the highest frequency component of a band limited message. If your message spectrum is like this, its highest frequency component will be W. Whereas if I have a single tone message, it has a single frequency FM. So in the denominator, I should have Fm square here rather than W square. Let me put Fm square. So what will this become? What does this reduce to?
3 by 2 beta square.
Yeah. So this is nothing but 3 by 2 beta square. For a single tone message, the figure of merit of FM receiver will be 3 by 2 times beta square. This represents, so sometimes they'll ask you to find this starting from the beginning, or sometimes they'll ask you to start from the figure of merit at some point in some stage and find out that for single tone depending on the marks allotted. Okay. So please remember these expressions. I lost count of the equation numbers. Anyway, so with this one last thing, let us find something called as the transitory value of beta. This is done by comparing single tone AM and FM equations. So let me say, do you remember what was the expression for figure of merit of standard AM single tone signal?
Mu square by 2 plus mu square.
This is actually easy to remember because you are getting the same equation as the efficiency of AM. So okay. This transitory value of beta is to help us compare standard AM performance with that of FM. So what we'll do, we'll consider single tone AM figure of merit equation mu square by 2 plus mu square. Okay. And we'll find its value when mu is equal to 1. So you'll find the value when mu is equal to 1, which turns out to be 1 by 3. And we will try to compare it with the figure of merit of single tone FM, which is 3 by 2 beta square. So we want to equate the figure of merits of single tone AM with that of single tone FM. And when we equate, we are going to substitute mu as 1 to find what beta value I will get corresponding to this level of figure of merit. If you do that, you will get beta square as 2 by 9 or beta as 0.471, which means that the value of beta should be greater than 0.471 if the FM system should give you a better performance than the standard AM. Remember, standard AM performance is not that good, right? I have to transmit 3 times more power than DSP-SC to get a good same level of performance. So even in FM, by doing this comparison of transitory value of beta or finding this value of beta where there will be a transmit say transit between poor reception and good reception. So transit means it's a change, right? Transitory means the value giving you a change between bad reception and good reception. So if an FM system should give you better performance than AM system in the presence of noise, your beta value should usually be greater than 0.71. So you just conclude for FM system to give better performance than AM in the presence of noise, beta should always be greater than 0.471. So if beta is greater than this, your FM system will surely perform better than the corresponding AM system. Okay. So I think with this we'll stop here. And it will be clear. Find the figure of merit of the standard AM. It should be written here. Find the figure of merit of double sideband full carrier AM when mu is 150 or 30%. We know the figure of merit of standard AM for single tone signal. Why are we using single tone? Because they have given us the value of mu. So for a single tone signal, we know even if it is multi-tone, I can use the same equation. It won't change. It is just now we saw it's given by mu square plus 2 plus mu square. All what we are doing here is we are substituting the different mu values. 100% means mu is 1. So figure of merit becomes 1 by 3. For 50% mu is 0.5. Figure of merit becomes 0.5 square by 2 plus 0.5 square, 0.111. For mu is equal to 30%, 0.3. The figure of merit becomes 0.043. Anyway, this is a simple problem for 2 marks maybe. Let's move on to the next. An AM receiver operating with a sinusoidal wave with 80% modulation. So with 80% modulation has an output signal to noise ratio of 30 decibels. Okay. So output signal to noise ratio is 30 decibels. Calculate the CNR, carrier to noise ratio. You are supposed to calculate. What happened? I think this should be calculate SNRC rather than CNR. Calculate the channel signal to noise ratio. Okay. So again the same equation. We know figure of merit of standard AM is given as SNRO by SNRC. Since mu is given, I'll write it in terms of mu square by 2 plus mu square. The expression in terms of mu we can use. Substitute the mu value 0.8. 80% means the mu value is 0.8. You'll get the figure of merit as 0.24. 24% efficient it is. Now, how do I find SNRC? The SNRC is defined as SNRO divided by figure of merit. So I just have to take this to the left hand side and bring it the figure of merit below. How much do you get? This 30 decibels it is given. You convert this from 30 decibels to regular value. How do you convert from decibels to standard value? Yes? How much is 1 decibel? 10 log of the given power ratio is 1 decibel, whatever, or 10 log of that is whatever value you get, it will be in decibel. So if I have to find log to the base 10, if I have to find the normal value, you have to equate 30 to 10 log P, whatever. I'm just considering that rather than P, let me say 10 log SNRO. Here SNRO is specified as this. So what will this become? 3 is equal to log SNRO to the base 10. Yes or no? 30 divided by 10. I'll bring this to the left hand side. It becomes 30 by 10. Therefore, what is the value of SNRO? SNRO will be anti-log of 3, which means 10 raised to the power of 3. Anti-log of 3, I should take here the base is 10, so 10 raised to the power of 3, which turns out to be 1000. So the normal value of SNRO is 1000 and in decibels it is 30 dB. Don't forget to convert it. Okay. So whenever it is given in decibels, you have to convert it to normal value by using anti-log. Remember, 10 log of the given value will specify the value in decibels. Is this clear? So when you do 1000 by 0.2424, you will get something around 4125. Now again you can calculate this value back in decibels. You have to do what? 10 log 4125. 10 into log 4125 to the base 10. I think you will get something around 36.15 decibels. So that is your input signal to noise ratio. Okay. Any doubts with this? Since all these are simple, I am trying to just explain and move fast. There is nothing much here. But please interrupt if you have any doubts. Okay. The next problem. Power spectral density of noise at the front end of the receiver is given by this. So whenever they give power spectral density of noise, please consider this value is N0 by 2. N0 by 2 is 0.5 into 10 to the power of minus 3 watts per hertz. This is given. Okay. The modulating wave M of t is sinusoidal with carrier power 80 kilowatts. So the carrier power is given as 80 kilowatts. Let me see. How much is carrier power? Power in carrier will be just AC square by 2. Yes or no? What is your carrier? Whichever modulation you take, the carrier is nothing but AC cos 2 pi FCT. Yes or no? Carrier is always defined as AC cos 2 pi FCT. So what will be the power in this carrier signal? Average power of the carrier signal will be AC square into 1 by root 2 whole square. Or in other words, AC square by 2. Are you getting this? He has given us that carrier power here. So you have to define it as AC square by 2. Carrier power is, I hope this is clear how we got carrier power as AC square by 2. Because carrier is always AC cos 2 pi FCT. Okay. So carrier power is AC square by 2, 80 kilowatts. Power spectral density is 0.5 into 10 power 3 watts per hertz. And sideband power is 10 kilowatts. So the sideband in the AM has 10 kilowatts per sideband. Okay, 10 kilowatts of power per sideband is there. The message bandwidth is, I'll show you how to represent this. The message bandwidth is 5 kilohertz W. Assume the use of envelope detector and find SNRO. So you have to recall the SNRO equation for AM, which is given as AC square KA square PM divided by 2 N naught into W. So this is the output SNR equation. Let's try to substitute everything. Remember, the carrier power is AC square by 2. The noise power spectral density is N naught by 2. Sideband power will be how much? Remember, in standard AM signal, the total power of AM is, do you remember the equation? Carrier power into 1 plus mu square by 2. Yes or no? For standard AM, the total power in the final signal is carrier power into 1 plus mu square by 2, or I can say PC plus mu square by 2 into PC. So this will represent the carrier power. This will surely represent the sideband power. So this is the power in both sidebands put together, right? So what is the power in a single sideband? I have to divide this by 2. Single sideband means mu square by 4 into PC plus mu square by 4 into PC. So when I split this into 2 parts, I'll get the power in each sideband separately. So if you want to find sideband power, you take mu square by 4 into PC. How much is PC? Carrier power. PC is
80 kilowatts.
AC square by 2. So what do you get? Mu square AC square by 8. The power in one sideband, power in a single sideband will be mu square AC square by 8, which you got from the standard output power equation, total power equation. If you remember it, you can directly write the power in one sideband is mu square AC square by 8, which is given as 10 kilowatts. And carrier power AC square by 2 is given as 80 kilowatts. This is not, R is 1. No resistance is mentioned, means consider it as 1. Therefore, what should I do? I have to find how much is mu square here. I can try to use equations 1 and 2, substitute the values, take the ratio. Let me say mu square AC square by 8 divided by AC square by 2 is equal to 10K by 80K. Okay, they have given this as 10K, this as 80K. AC square by 2 I'll cancel. What remains is mu square by 4 is 10 by 80. So you find how much is mu. Mu becomes root 0.5 or mu square is 0.5. Okay. I can keep it as mu square itself. I need not find this. Finally, what is the expression for SNRO? We know SNRO is given as AC square mu square by how much? We had written it here, right? AC square Ka square PM. How will I replace Ka square PM with mu? Single tone. Ka into AM is mu. So if I consider if PM is, what is the value of PM? AM square by 2. Power in a single tone message, if it becomes AM square by 2, what will happen to this equation? This becomes AC square KA square AM square by 4W into N naught. Right? This KA into AM, you can replace it with mu. Let me just 1 second. Okay, AC square mu square by 4 N naught into W. This will be your final expression. That's what you have here. Okay, AC square mu square by 4 N naught into W. That let us split it as AC square by 2 because I know that is 80 kilowatts. Mu square is 0.5 and W is 5 kilohertz. N naught is N naught by 2 was 0.5 into 10 power minus 3. So N naught will be 2 into 0.5 into 10 power minus 3. So totally you will get this value as 4000. If you want, you can write it in decibels as 10 log of 4000. How much will this be? 40 decibels. Huh? Is that right? I don't know. Just check out how much will it be in decibels. Let's stop today's class here. Nisha is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want you to remain